here's all the stuff I've pulled out of this truck now. Those are all AC lines and heater hoses. There's the valves. It's not that bad of a job, it's just miserable. One thing I have found is get a hose cutter and just cut the hoses and remove the valves later. It's not worth your time trying to take all that stuff apart. Just start cutting. These are the nuts we're using on the axles. They are 8-sided 4 3/8 Stemco axle nut, and they have a built-in locking ring here. There's 6 teeth at the top, 3 per side, and then these tabs lock in, and that will prevent the nut from backing out. As you see here, this top tab actually locks in the axle itself, so there's no way for it to turn. This is a pretty handy system compared to the old nut where you just cross your fingers. Obviously you're going to need a special socket. This is a 4 3/8 8-sided socket, but I will put a link. You never know where you're going to run into those things. One other piece of advice I have for people who are thinking about going into a project like this is when you're checking out a used truck to buy, a good place to look is at this frame rail between the battery box and the fuel tank. This is where they use the edge protectors. And if you can see here, that's how it should look. You know, this is a 38-year-old truck. It's in really nice shape. But if you come over here where the edge protector was, you can see how pitted this edge is. Now, it doesn't compromise the frame in any way on this truck. It's just cosmetic. We're not going to run with any edge protectors on the truck anywhere. We're just going to do better management of the airlines because this will wreck a frame. We saw it on the other truck where it had literally eaten a chunk out of the frame, like half of this flange, and had the flange right down to paper thin all the way through here. Now, that was a 1/4-inch frame truck, so the frame was worthless anyway. We knew that off the hop, that the whole thing was getting thrown out, so it didn't matter. But when you're looking at a project, check between the battery box and the fuel tank. And this has nothing to do with being in the Rust Belt or anything like that. This truck was out of Florida, like you can see in here. Every single one of the nuts on these little clamps here, like this, every single one of those came off. I didn't break one stud doing the whole truck. That's how clean the frame was. But in spite of that, where these edge protectors were, it's really ugly. Again, it doesn't actually affect the structure of the truck. Everything's fine. But this left with an edge protector on it for the next 10 years would have caused some problems. Done my best attempt at washing out this interior, but I just went around with some degreaser and a toilet brush to get in the corners and gave it a once over, rinsed it down with water and Windex. Working away at the Noico, I have most of it in. It's pretty easy stuff to work with. What I discovered is don't be scared to just start cutting pieces and putting them in. And if you have to trim a bit here and trim a bit there, that's fine, because you'll always find somewhere to use up your scraps. And then with the roller, it kind of squishes all the rubber together, makes one solid sheet anyway. I cut this out, and that's just going to go on the plate itself. So what I'm doing now is putting mass-loaded vinyl in the floor. So it's going to go here, built into the Firewall insulation that comes with the truck as well, and up in the Firewall and the cab corners. Then we will apply another layer of this open cell foam. Different frequencies get blocked by different types of foams. So this is the closed cell, this Noico, and it's good for heat as well. So then we're putting on a layer of open cell, which is a bit thicker, easier to work with. It's still an adhesive, but it's a very different material. And so put a layer of this everywhere that it fits, and again I'll have links to this stuff. Put it everywhere that we can, and on top of that then we will put this which is mass loaded vinyl, as a last level of sound barrier. This stuff is easier to work with than you think it might be. Honestly, it feels like a mud flap. But what's really cool about it is all you have to do is score it with a knife. I like to use Milwaukee knives. So you don't actually have to cut all the way through. You can just score it, and then it'll break apart right where you cut it. There you go. So you don't actually have to cut through this heavy vinyl, because this is heavy vinyl with like aluminum powder in it or something like that. So I've cut out around the throttle pedal, the brake pedal, and around the steering column. So in pinch points like this, we're only running one layer of the Noico, and the steering column will bolt directly to this. Another thing that's making this job a lot easier is having the centerpiece out of the floor, like the plywood above the transmission, and with the transmission out, you can stand right down here to do the firewall. It's all right at your eye level. Another fun fact is that one sheet of Noico is exactly the right size for these bottom corners. And if you are mirroring side to side for your cuts, just remember that this bracket here, even though it's in the same spot from side to side, is actually just flipped upside down, which actually changes your dimensions by an inch, top and bottom. So I know that this is about 19.5 inches by 30.5. This stuff doesn't have as nice of lines on it. Tiny little threads that run through it are also a bit of a pain, because even though this is a shears, they're so tough and thin that it's hard to get in there. So let's see how we did. Yeah, that's the idea. This stuff seems really sticky. That's gonna be fun. Just try to never let stuff like this fold back on itself. Here's the panel that goes below the dash against the firewall. This side will go against the wall, and this is where the junctions are, all your harnesses. On this side is where the heater core will mount. I have these nuts in here because they need to act as standoffs so that the heater core is not pinching this panel against the wall. I know it seems like you think it should, but if you don't have these nuts in here, it won't have a solid standoff and the box will be able to move. So you need to have these nuts in here as solid standoffs. Factory, they use this, which is just an aluminum ring, but they're not tall enough for what we're doing here. Put the foam here, mass loaded vinyl here, and then there's a layer of Noico that I put on the firewall itself that will sit in there. So this will be 3 layers thick. And then on this side is where you glue your carpet. I also added an extra set of holes. Typically it fastens here and here, so I added an extra pair of bolts. Alright, I'm close to done insulating here, so I figured I would tell you exactly what we put in here per layer. And this is the same thing we did in the blue truck, and it's hard to believe that a truck can be that quiet. This is what I would do every time. It's insanely quiet after you do all this. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of layers. It's not cheap, but it's very effective. First thing we do is put a layer of Noico everywhere, corners, everywhere, every exposed bit of metal that you can. That will deaden any kind of tinny sounds. On top of that, we put a layer of this open cell foam, which is a lot like the Noico, except quite a bit thicker and a lot stickier. It's a little more difficult to work with than the Noico, but when you slap it on, it stays. We put a layer of that here, and then this panel here, which is the factory peat panel, I will show you how that is sandwiched together. But there's a layer of this open cell foam in there as well, and a layer of open cell foam in these cab corners right here. On top of that open cell foam, we put a layer of mass-loaded vinyl, which is this black stuff here. It's about 1/4 inch thick, maybe 3/16. And that will go on the firewall starting here on this ledge. It is one of the layers in this piece. Put a layer here. We'll do the whole floor. And then the cab corners up to there is all mass-loaded vinyl. On top of that, we put another layer of open cell foam. That all fits just fine. One thing you're gonna have to be a little bit picky about is when you're wiring, you don't want any of your wires to touch that aluminum because that would short it out. And that's especially, this is the door you would take off to get at the back side of your manifold. It is where your pressure sensors are. And then right here, I haven't test fit the manifold yet, but I might have to do some modification. One of the products we're using, besides the Noico, open cell, and mass-loaded vinyl, those are your three main things, is this, which is just a thin foam, and we're using it to make gaskets. So on this access door, we have a layer of the original foam, then a layer of mass-loaded vinyl, and then another layer of this new foam, which is to make a new seal for that outside. There's a layer of mass-loaded vinyl, which is that lighter gray there, and a layer of that foam to make a new seal. I will also use a layer of that foam to make a seal on the bottom side of the manifold. And then I'm sticking this to that little door, which is a layer of Noico and a layer of open cell foam. And the reason that we did those layers on the outside instead of the inside is to give a little more depth here. That way we're not as close to the manifold. We haven't done the ceiling yet because we're still waiting for air horns. Once the air horns are here, then we can mount the clearance lights and do all of that. So next I'll just cut out pieces of mass-loaded vinyl to go on the floor, and that will be it.